Hello. So I'm back for some more punishment. Yeah, so let's get started. Trying a new playlist. Right, so where we ended the last one was sorry, just playing my own audio out. So where we ended the last one was we had created the link between categories and user items. And anytime you're creating a new user item or a new item for that instance, so user items and items are separate. Items are canonical. Anybody can find those, but user items only show up on the user's page. The category name and ID is what we connected through Redwood. I ran into some Prisma issues, so the cause of those Prisma issues were actually one of the functions that Redwood passes through Prisma. So let's go to their CLI commands. So let's see, where was it? This is DB Studio. They do say, warning, Prisma Studio is currently experimental. So I found an issue on the last stream, and let's see, David got back to me. So where did I? Actually, I mentioned it in a in their discourse forum. So you start using Prisma, their discourse forum is pretty awesome. They're very responsive, tight-knit group. So I mentioned it, and he said to send it on to Prisma, which I did. I think I did. I don't know if I did. So troubleshooting. That was mine. 500 on the users table. So he recommended that I checked the table in the columns. I did. I then ended up filing an issue on GitHub, and they said to send it on to Prisma. So it was actually Peter. So we're back here. I nuked the database. I don't know. I've lost track of how many times I've nuked the database, but that's one of the beauties of a greenfield project is it doesn't matter, really. So mention this in the Redwood. I'll take Thunder. So basically, Renato is doing one. I'm not going to take Thunder from him. I really like Meteor.js if you've ever used that. Alright, so we are back here. What we need to do is, what did I say we were going to do? We're going to separate out the uncategorized. Actually, let's go back. So let's look at the playground. So we're actually this list is made up of user items, but I don't have a way to look this up in GraphQL because the way user items is constructed, and that's the user item cell. The actually, it's the user items service, I believe. So when it returns these items, it only returns items that are on the current user ID. And right now it's sorting by the created at. So this will be changing in the future, but on the client, we can do some funny stuff with the user items. So. All right, so user items is declared there. Let's filter out user items const uncategorized user items. Let's see, user items, and we'll filter those. Keep calling them user items. No, I would think of them as items. Console log. So we defined it. Something like that. Because the filter's not doing anything. If user return user item dot so it's the user item dot category you know what, let's delete it. Return true. Filter returns true. It should. Well, console user item. Back up. I like this playlist. Let's set this to something. Const uncat returning it. Okay, so React doesn't like this, but it at least shows what we're looking for. So, from the item name, the category, I guess we can just go on the category. So, return if user item is equal to dot category name is equal to, so I can spell correctly. All right, this one should return one item. I think that's right. Okay, it is, because the other ones were in spices and baking. That was an error from the earlier video. I had the wrong ID, and I was using specific IDs. Alright, so we've got the uncategorized items. We're returning those as items. So let's display those unseparated from the categorized items. What we can do. Well, let's just do these as an unordered list for the moment. Insert one a key. Is the video working? FPS 15. Sorry, I'm just checking my video. Oh, thanks, Creekburn. How are you? Item. Why is it not in a function in an array? First, I need to return. Yeah, I know, it's just one letter off, isn't it? This is line 52. Uncategorized items. Spelled correctly? Yep. Map over those each as uncategorized item. Let's look at the uncats. As a function, not an array. Nope. Oh, yeah, I see what you're talking about. How would you do this? Throw this stuff up here. That's so that would be uncat dot. All right, we filtered out. Should be all this, right? I think I can return it from up here, can I? And then just call uncategorized items. Maybe I'm being a bit daft. Alright, so I've got a This needs to be outside of that function. Am I getting my uncat? I'm haven't closed off this function, have I? All right, here we go. There's pizza. That's the only uncategorized item. And it's returning. Creek, is the stream still running? Okay. That screen just froze. I'm running on a laptop. So just getting started with this streaming thing. Right. So what I was thinking was having, this is the actual grocery list that you'll use for planning. But I want an uncategorized list as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the same sort of interface here, if that makes any sense. And I hate using tables. Put space in here. What I'll be doing with this is setting off with a different color. Have you followed any of the other videos that I've done? Right, so what I'm rebuilding is an application called Beeline that I built about 6 or 7 years ago. This is in Meteor with Blaze, which was their rendering engine then. So if I added a new item, so I'm just going to say grains, this is set off where you can then categorize the item. So I guess grains would be in grains. And then it shows up in the grocery list. And then there's shopping. So that's what I'm building. I'm trying to move it to a more sorry, I keep looking over at my computer, but you're actually right here. I'm trying to move it to a more up-to-date platform, and also well, I like React, so I don't even know how to get into the server that Beeline's running on at the moment, so I'd rather move everything over to something that I can manage today. So we're looking at something like this where we have an uncategorized group. What's something got some Southern Comfort? That was Brad's suggestion. So we've got uncategorized and it's set off. This is using Bootstrap. So we're on Tailwind now because we're in the future. Alright, so this is going to be uncategorized. Where are you from, Creek? Nice. That's one of the places that I wanted to visit before all this COVID crap. Actually, all right. So yeah, we'll render that up here, but I need to change how this render function works. Got a lot of protests going on there, don't you? I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we've had some here, but not quite as much as what's going on out there. So the news makes it out like it's a huge area. Is it not really that much of an area? We'll just keep this in the render function. Well, I don't know what to make of any of it anymore. Like, I just don't know. I don't know what I can trust on what I see on the news. There's not like a... The founder of Wikipedia was trying to start something called Wikimedia. This is like back in 2018. But he was trying to come up with something that was non-biased whatsoever. It just reported what's happening, and let you make your own decisions. I still want to go out there. I agree with you there, buddy. Alright, so it looks like we've got uncategorized split out. I thought I had made this red. That's the border. Where's the background on that? Now my stream says that it's loading. Is it still showing on your end? Something must be up with my down today because I was streaming somebody else's Twitch today, and it was not downloading. Like, it was terrible quality of service. There we go. I'm not sure if 50 shows. Well, now if you can still see me, my browser just cut out. Sorry. Are you still connected? All right, so do this copyright free music, otherwise my stream could be taken down. This song is called Funk Cooking Music by Mokka, M-O-K-K-A. Pretty wild. What kind of music are you into, Creek? Alright, red 50's not working. I'm not sure. Alright, now I'm going to need your help. I am terrible with color. I think there is color there. Yep, that is red. Jesus, this is large. Okay, so I think I've been deving in a zoomed out picture. So you haven't seen this app yet, have you? So what I've done so far is I've got 3 or 4 tables. I've got items, which are canonical items. If you want to add something, it will just add it. I think I'm doing a feature flag in the future where it only shows items that you've created or that have been published. And published is something that I'll have to change in the interface later where other people can see it. Then I have user items, which makes up this list, and that table, let's look at the schema. So the user item, let me show you the other parts first. So there's categories, which is one of the most recent things that I added. A category has multiple items in Redwood. This is how you do the relation. And then a user has multiple user items. And this category and item are connected on the creation mutation when you're creating these user items, but they're not connected in the database. And I'm fine with that because I think of these as like a point in time. So when a person adds a user item, it's a point in time. It's like a stamp of what's in the item and the category table at that point. Grocery. This is basically a grocery list. A user's item is a grocery list. So that's what we're actually looking at right now, is the grocery list. I think that color needs to be a bit stronger. I need it to be a bit stronger because I'm partially colorblind. Have you used Prisma before? So Prisma is like a step back from creating join tables. It will create join tables for you, but let's try 100. This is a Tailwind, the CSS that I'm using. Okay, so that's apparently the same density. Let's... Okay. I heard Adam Wathan say at one point that you should only do padding on the top. But he's got 2. Margin. Margin top. Let's try 4. So, I don't think I answered your question. So what Prisma does in this case is I create a schema. It's called schema first development. So I created the schema. That's the seeds. And these are the tables, but when I do a join on a relation like this, it'll create that join table. So if I did a many-to-many relationship, it would create a join table that goes both ways. If I created a one-to-many, it'll go one way. So for instance, the way that you declare that, and this is called the schema creates a schema definition language through Prisma command, which Redwood extrapolates. So it's like 3 or 4 layers of abstraction. But category has more than one item. So on items. And then we link that back to category. So this is a one-to-many. That would be a one-to-n relationship. You can do one-to-one. I don't really have any. I don't have any one-to-one relationships yet. Because my authentication because there's sorry, I just saw your question. All right, here we go. Because there's metadata on these, specifically this picked. When you pick a grocery item in the store, keep looking over to my laptop, but when you pick an item at the store, that needs to be something separate, which does not get created in the join table. And I haven't found a clear way of creating that Plus, I like the extensibility of this. If there's going to be very few changes to category, so if there were other columns on this category table, you would need to also update the categories that are in the user items. A, they're not expecting that if you need to, and B, I don't really need to tightly correlate that. But what I definitely need is I need it to be on the user, and the picked part needs to be sort of a metadata piece of the user item. I don't even really need it updated because these are short-lived. These actually, I'm not saving a user's history of items that they've picked from the grocery store before. So these will actually be deleted. It's sort of like a pseudo list. It's not the actual items. It's its own separate entity, if that makes any sense. And if it doesn't, please tell me if it doesn't make any sense. Because I want to be able to explain these, my reasons behind these. So we're showing uncategorized. What we want to be able to do is to then click on this item and categorize it. And that would involve a mutation. Have you used GraphQL before, Creek? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right on that. It's basically a cart. So what we've done with the app in the past is, say my wife and I are in a rush. Hold on, I gotta get to... So, say we're in a rush and we need to go around the store. What she can do is she can start at the top, and this should be the order that these items come in the store. And then I can start at the bottom. So I go to the opposite side of the store that we normally start at, and we can sort of meet in the middle. So that's her, that's me, that's her. And then the idea with the app is once you hit checkout, it then takes these off of the user items, but then it can do something else where it will automatically organize the categories of the store. So the whole idea is you have a store in the order that you shop it. So some people always, go left. Some people always go right. Whatever way that is, it keeps track of the way that you go through this store. So that's what this auto mode is. You can also, it doesn't like this in. You should be able to drag them. Huh. Maybe it doesn't work anymore. I haven't updated this app in half a decade, 5 years, something like that. So it's just been running on Heroku that whole time. And I just thought I would recreate it. I know a bit more about programming now, so actually let's unpick these items. So this is unpicking the items because I didn't actually get these. And do I need these? No, I got bread. I'm not actually using this week, but I don't know. That's the idea. It's probably overboard on something like this, but whatever. I'm showing you something, so and I'm proving to myself that I can recreate this app. Sorry. Okay. Where are we at? So I had a hurricane this morning, and it's gone. I'm in Raleigh. So rest of the week is looking good. So my idea is to drop this off. We know these two are uncategorized. Okay, so we just need the item name. We don't need these other options. So we need an on-click handler for this. I don't know. What do you think? I guess I could see people wanting to delete items. Say you type something in accidentally. Yeah, I'm gonna let them keep it's not tabbing. So we know that it's uncategorized because it's in the uncategorized bit. But if they want to get rid of it, I think they should delete it. And you know what? We should remove. You know what? We probably want to. Move this so it's outside, so it only shows uncategorized. What do you mean by that, Creek? Oh, I think I see what you mean. Yeah, you're right. The uncategorized will show slightly different. I don't think it will show this item right there, or the category. Give me something to think about. So we just need to take in, the other thing is I need to mutate this data out. So it doesn't need to be all items. It needs to be all categorized items. Alright, let's do that. Yeah, I like your idea. Okay, so success. So in Redwood, have you done much with Redwood before? Okay. So let me show you this. So Redwood has the concept of a cell. They have generators that you can generate these cells based off of the structure of the Prisma schema. So we've got the Prisma schema, which is creating tables for Prisma. But then you can use the schema to also create services and a schema definition list. I'll show you the whole thing. So let's start with a fetch. So the page is loaded, and it then fetches this user items, which is defined in the user items. It's called SDL, but a schema definition list. Thing. And this is what it sort of curries these items through to a services file. So this is the user item object, basically. And this is a type of query, and you can define multiple queries in here. But that's what we're looking at, is user items. So that's where this user items comes from. And it requires it returns an array that may be empty, that's what the asterisk says, of type user item, which is defined here, which these are the items in the array that can be requested. And then on the GraphQL end, like, this is the type of the fields that you can pull down. And then this also ties in to the services where user items is defined. And this is where we actually do the database calls. This is on the server. So it's split between web and API, and this is all on API. So in the services, that's where we're going next, is user items. And I've got these other services as well. But in user items, what we do is I've created a function that gets the current user. So I have a login here. Obviously that's not me. And it will return the user items that are on the current user. Otherwise, if there's not a current user, it will return nothing. So, back to your suggestion. What we can do, I'm going to close a few of these. So we've already separated out that. I think it would essentially be doing that first part and putting that into a... I still need to call it. We did these with render functions. What do you think about render functions for this? No, yeah, you said components, didn't you? So that's exactly the opposite of what you said. All right, so const, what should we call it? Yeah, let's make them really dumb. So low IQ that they don't even find any data. Okay. So let's look at what we've got. The main differences between these two hold on, let's just look at the interface because that's easier. The main differences between these two tables is the color of that, the data coming in, which is a given, and then well, it's the data and the color, isn't it? Oh, whether to show this item category. All right, let's do it. All right, we'll copy the bigger one first because that's got these in a flex. I'm not sure. I can't remember if I asked you this already. Have you used Tailwind before? Never gets to that. Should we call it? Just to a bit, I think what Tailwind, I forget how it describes it, but instead of having like objects that you're creating, it's like the parts that make up objects in CSS. I don't even know if that's a good definition, but that's how I think of it. Is it's not the actual components like in Bootstrap. You would have like a table component or material, definitely material. You would have like a table component, and with Tailwind, okay, you see I'm using table elements, but min width full, that wouldn't specify anything. I think this applies, yeah, it applies a min width of 100%. That's nothing to do with tables. So I don't know. I decided to use it with this project. I actually have bought Tailwind UI, where they have their well-designed Tailwind components, which is useful because I can drag and drop a lot of stuff or copy and paste a lot of stuff and pull it in. I like that. I don't know. That's just for this project. Maybe I'll do something different for the next. All right, naming things. That's one of the two hardest problems. There's two really hard problems in programming. There's naming things, cache invalidation, and n+1 errors. If you catch the joke, please let me know. So we'll call this user items table. Type. Okay. Let's see. We need to take in the title as well. So we'll take in the title, I don't know what other to call it in color. Header color and I guess we should take the items in first. Okay. And this will be title. User items will go over its own. Alright, we need to I'm going to put this at the front so it's easily seen. So I'm not going to show to begin with. We just need to use template literals. Yeah, you're right. You were definitely right on that. Have you seen, who was it? One of the authors of React Router that was doing all the stuff on the accessibility. That was like really good. He was using a screen reader for like an hour a day to be as close to I don't know, what people are dealing with as possible. Alright, so we'll take in header color. Let's take in a default of background. Okay, so if it's not just defined, we'll do background gray. Yeah, that's true. Google supports that, and I guess the other ones do as well. I haven't looked at how DuckDuckGo is interpreting that stuff. For the other, I had gone deep into accessibility about a year ago, but I feel bad. I should do it again. Is my stream still working? Because mine's still showing loading. Alright. I think we can pull these out. We've got the user items table. Well, I don't know what mine's doing. I'm glad you're able to see me. Alright, so let's minimize some things so we can look at what the requirements are. User items is equal to, so the first user items will be equal to uncategorized items. And title will be equal to header color. BG type. You'd think that that would be a requirement for this job. All right, so this should now show I think that should be right. But now uncategorized items doesn't need to return anything to display. It needs to return this uncapped. Let's look at the Twitch froze again. Lost all your chat. Does not like me today. Okay, so now we're showing both. Let's add a new item to see if it's uncategorized. What do you want me to add? Taking a request. I'm gonna add I'm a big fan of IPAs. Are you a beer drinker? Ooh. Doesn't like that. Porters or stouts? So I need some keys. I forgot keys. No, I've got a key. All right. Read the effing error message. That's what Brad said yesterday, so. Objects are not valid as a React child. Do you see the error? Maybe it doesn't like this. Okay, so that's returning an object. Is that an object? Okay, user items. That's an array. User items, it comes from this query. So mutation. This is something that's sort of handled by Redwood. It creates a query on the cell, and let's see, user items. What page was it in? See, this is an array. So it's sort of handled by Redwood already. Actually, not sure how it handles it. It does take this query and sort of ferries it along. Like if these, while it's loading, it'll show loading. If it's empty, it'll show empty. If it's a failure, it'll show the message. But otherwise, it then sends the user items into the success for the user items cell, and then that's accessible within the return statement, which should then be passed through here. Oh yeah, sorry. So after it runs, so what I was talking about was before it returns to the success statement. You see, this is coming back with the filtered out item in this uncat. So it's complaining at 121 header color. Go list it twice. So it's not listing it twice. Okay, now it's listing it twice, or 3 times. So 115 user items. So we're getting those down here. Objects are not valid as React child. So I'm doing something wrong down here. So it is getting those 2 props. User items map. Do that. So it is item. Why is it complaining about it though? Time for the Google. What I'm doing, isn't it? What's in this array? Item name, category, ID, category name. Got a key. Damn it, why does it keep doing that? Well, this needs to be moved down. Actually, it needs to be copied at the moment. And eventually moved down. So missing an event handler. I didn't fix it. I have a feeling that this is a little thing. Good point. Though I think it will eventually live in that user items table. Still doesn't fix the React child. Oh, you're right, because delete items is in the parent scope, isn't it? T-body. What, here? Hey, you know what? I feel like an idiot. I think that might be it. Yes. So I had extracted it and then minimized it. Forgot about it, basically. But I had left this uncategorized items there. But now this was returning an object because I was sending that object to the user items table. But I was still using it in this call right here. So basically I'm a dumbass. Good call. So let's drop the console log, tidy up a little bit. So is that what we were thinking? Is that what you were thinking? Also, and yeah, this has nothing to do with programming. What are some names of good dark beers that you like? Because I used to brew beer, and I just like trying new things. Right, I'm gonna put another option there. Show category, and default's gonna be true. All right, let's check this out. Oh, Sam Smith. I have had some Sam Smith before. Let's look at this. Man, my internet is slow. I pay for gigabit, so my wife's from the UK actually. I think I've had this before. But next time that I am over there, I am going to order this and drink it for you. I might have two. Yeah, this looks good. So I have tried I'm an IPA fan, so it's a completely different genre of beer. I have tried to like porters and stouts, and there are some that I've found that are delicious, but the majority I haven't had a good experience with. But you know that those are imported. Like, they take time to come over the ocean, and it's not the same as like close to when it has been brewed. That's what I'm talking about. But Sam Smith, yeah, I've had that before. It's good. You've got, I can beer you, maybe. I don't think I paid for emotes. There's no beer emotes. That's lame. Closest thing I've got is this. That showed up. Let's pretend that that's a chalice of the Sam Smith chocolate stout, organic chocolate stout. So my wife's actually over there right now. We're looking at going back over there again before all this COVID crap closes down again. So if I'm over there, I will look for this beer and try to tweet you a message of me drinking it close to where it's brewed. Oh no. What's going on here? Okay, what did I just change? Well, I didn't like this, did it? Oh. I used a ternary without actually having a false statement. Okay, so the default is to show it, but let's return a false on that. It's getting really long. Yeah, I could do. Not liking that either. All right. So I've done it that way. So you're saying, okay, so you're saying to do like an object, I forget what it's called. Cat. Can you show me what you mean by the and there? Because I'm not sure I know what you mean. And I'm going to keep plowing forwards. So we've got this showing with uncategorized. What we need to do next is actually pull the uncategorized out. Should be the opposite of this. Jesus, is it going to be that easy? We're gonna shorten this. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, because if it returns false on the first statement, then it will not continue on the and. Feeling daft today. Okay, we don't need to return any of this crap. So I'm using ligatures on this. I don't know if you've used those before. What? Hey, so what do you code in? Like Creek, what do you use VS Code? Do you use Vim? What do you use? Oh, but this is gonna be the same. Categorized. Oh, you're a Java guy or girl. I don't know if you're a guy or girl. You code in Java. All right, we should see 3 lists now. 1 with everything, 1 with the grocery list. All right. So, good idea is out. Sorry. I have a contract that's texting me. You can wait. Nice. Are you an independent developer? Do you have a company you're working for, or just I don't know. I'm a freelancer, so I actually do this on the side. I'm a pharmacist as my main job, but I've been doing this since I graduated pharmacy school. Nice. I've been trying to get into contracting. I've been trying to switch careers, so that's what I'm doing. Alright, let's drop all this mumbo jumbo because we've extracted this out to a user table function or a user table component, user items table component. Be specific. So this should be what we're aiming for. So let's add, what is that? We're going to add the organic chocolate stout to our grocery list. And I swear, if I see it in the grocery store, I'm going to buy it. Promise. I keep turning towards, maybe I should move my camera over to the side because I keep turning over to the chat to actually be able to communicate. Still getting used to all this. Yeah, I'm trying to get some experience. So the contract that I'm talking to, it's a Twilio contract. I've done some work for them before, integrating a Twilio video chat that needs to be integrated into the application. And now the company really wants us to go forward with that with all the COVID stuff. So he's actually, I'm not ignoring him. He said that he's busy today, so he does a lot of the sales. It's his own company that works for an events company. Are you trying to get into React? Is that what you do, or yeah? How did you end up on my stream? I don't even know how you ended up on my stream. Posted it in a few places, but it's my foray into streaming web dev. I'm going to commit this. So extract user items table, filter Nice. I'm glad that I'm showing up in that. So, okay, let me link some stuff in the chat. That way you've got what we're working on. So, Redwood's the primary thing. Have you done any React before? If you've mainly done Java? Oh, what's your current project? That's not the Prisma I'm looking for. Whew, I feel for you, brother. Forayed into AWS, but it is intimidating. So, Redwood combines a lot of things. So it's a Jamstack philosophy. When this builds, sends all the HTML down and then hydrates it. It uses React, and that hits sort of. So it hits a GraphQL layer, which Prisma is sort of in charge of, but it also uses the Prisma layer to create some of the functionality for the client. So everything goes through these mutations. No, that's what you're getting paid for. The custom stuff is what you're getting paid for. So this file is used to generate lots of different things. So CLI is a good place to look at all the things that it generates. So they have a generate. So this is one of the backers of Redwood. Hold on, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. One of the backers of Redwood is Rob, and Robert Cameron does some. He's actually out your way, I believe. But if you Googled Robert Cameron, you would find that's not Robert Cameron. Canigan. Found his way through Ruby. See, that's not thought he was one of the founders. Maybe he wasn't. Okay, well, I just lied to one of my friends. Never mind. But Robert Cameron's doing a good job. Well, thought he was really into it. But here's his videos on it. His videos are pretty it is Tom Preston. Okay, so Tom Preston Werner is one of the founders of GitHub. So that's what the relationship was. I felt like an idiot. Oh well. Let's keep going. Alright, where were we? What we need to do is we need to be able to click on these and categorize them. So I was thinking a modal. That's what I used in the last application. I know that they don't really achieve the accessibility standard, but let me show you some of the cool hotkeys that I've got. So I don't have anything selected right now. I'm clicking down here, but backslash targets that, and then you can start looking up things. Some of the previous videos I integrated this keyboard navigation, and then you can press Control Enter to add something. So ice bag. So we just had a hurricane, and an ice bag is something that you might need. Or more than one ice bag. So these are the sort of things that you would want to be able to fix after you've already created them. Alright, let's get out of all that crap. Tailwind UI. Have you ever looked at Tailwind UI? So are you familiar with Tailwind CSS? Oh man, which one? 2, 3, or 4? My new project requires a Bootstrap, so I've got to relearn it. Sweet. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm excited to use Flexbox and hopefully Grid as well. I kind of threw those in there, but they have a designer as well, so he'll probably take over that stuff. So like Adam's, instead of Bootstrap's idea of thinking of things as specific components, you craft the components, and it looks pretty ugly when, hell, you can see it right here. Look at all of these classes on my table header. So yeah, this is pretty expressive, but CSS is faster at rendering than JavaScript is, and instead of you building a whole CSS file that I don't know if you've ever like bought a theme on like ThemeForest or anything like that, but dude, I've looked at like CSS files that are like 10,000 lines, and you don't really know where to enter when it gets that big. What this does is you're hitting specific parts of common UI design. So these parts, even though you're putting them in your HTML or React, it ends up not creating this spaghetti monster of a CSS file that you don't know what you can edit, so you just keep adding to it. And the last few projects that I've had have had that issue. They're like the flying spaghetti monster of problems. It's like just like a religious amount of problems with it. So does it still use floats? I don't think it still uses floats, does it? I forgot what we were doing. Okay, so let's do the modal. Just like showing off the stuff that I like to use. So we sort of need a modal, but I don't know if it's going to be a modal or an action. Because we're going to be doing something in this panel. All right, I have a question for you then. What do you think about CSS and JS? That's a political issue, so CSS and JS. And then also, have you looked at styled components? And you know, what's your opinion on those? Because yeah, I'm all for like everything. I'm agnostic to all this stuff. I'll use whatever. I've used it all. So. Alright, we're going to have an input. Look, watch. Click. Copy. Alright, so we're going to throw this in a new right below this. Const. This is getting long names. Selected uncategorized item. User item. Alright, gotta read what you said. Okay, so question, when you're starting a, let's say a greenfield, okay, so say for instance this, selected create uncategorized user item. Do you create that item on the client first, or do you create the functionality behind it first and then scope out that item? That's an interesting question. Because there's different thoughts about which way to go, which direction. Let's see. Yeah, I see what you mean with that. So because this is pure HTML and we're using React, we've got to fix these class names. So we're going to take class is equal to, we're going to replace it with class. I have some weird, I didn't close that. I see your point with that. We'll see how many problems we can run into me doing it client first. How about that? Prove me wrong. How about that? All right. Doesn't like that. Selected item. It would help if I could type. It should format. All right. So we've got the selected uncategorized user item. I'm going to copy that to clipboard. And let's use your and on click. So we needed on click handler for the items in this. Handle user item click. I hear you on that. You'd probably shout at me about what I did with creating. So, hold on. Let me finish this, and then I'll show you what I want to show you, because it's hilarious that I did it. It's absolutely awful, but I'll fix it later. Pretty sure I will. I think those were famous last words. I'll fix it later. Okay, so we're gonna log out which items are clicked. That should work on all of the items in here. Does not work. Does not work. Did I save? Nope. Didn't pass the item properly. Man, you're fast. Ice bag, chocolate stouts. And it will even pull up the items in the grocery list because it's within this. Okay, so you're gonna laugh at the, okay, so you said wide APIs, right? I want you to take a look at this function. create item and user item. I'm not using I've also got a create item class, and I've got a create user item class. And there's even an update one. You know how, like, you know when you're being bad and you do something still? Yeah, that's what it is. All right. Okay, so we're showing the item. So I'll close most of that other stuff. What I'm thinking is we pass this user item to the selected uncategorized user item. So we're getting really long template name or component names. And that means we will need state in here. I think it's actually automatically imported, but let's test that. I saw somewhere that they said that they automatically import all that crap, but let's test them. So we're going to need use state in here. And we'll call this you know what? It's not just selecting uncategorized user items. This is why naming is one of those hard problems. Hey, did you get that joke earlier? Thanks for watching, man. I will look out for you in the future, and I'm definitely going to get that beer. I'm going to keep going, though. So you can watch this later if you want. Can't see Dodd's tweeted message. Something smart today. What was that he said? Use lazy initialization. Damn, why is my internet so slow? I think Google watches for this. What the hell? I'm paying for a gigabit. All right. Well, we're still getting some internet, so So he was talking about this use lazy initialization. Anything that's expensive in the initial state of an item, if you use this pattern, like the function creation's fast, and then it will only run once, is what I understood from it. So, like his example here is I'm clicking a lot. Whereas this one, clicking a lot, even though there's something. We still going? Yep, looks like it. Alright, got our action panel. Alright, we just need to show this. Alright. So if selected user item is created, we're going to select it as that user item. Let's display select user item. And we'll send select the user item. Which means we don't really need that. I don't know why it's not showing. Doesn't like something. Use state is not defined, so that answers the question. So I posed the question to Creekburn. Whether it reacts. Import. Alright, looks like it's creating it down there, but it's putting it in the regular flow, and it doesn't like 4. I could type today. Alright, so let's see. Update. Selected user item. Names. Alright, I'm gonna take a mini break. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Making some goldfish. I'm still a child. All right. $136 is undefined. Let's look at the props without destructuring them. Something we could really structure out would be the names. Let's leave it as props right now. And we'll destructure them right here. Everybody's doing well today. Looks like Scott Talinsky streamed today. You still streaming? Oh, you're creating a print course. That's pretty cool. Can I? Damn, now I'm conflicted because I want to kind of watch Scott's stream. Are we at a good stopping point? Not really. Alright. I'll watch Scott's stream later. We need the item name. You know what? I don't need to. I need the ID, don't I? All right. So I think right here, what we need is we need to. Why is that so small? For some reason, it's not taking on styles. Let's look at how it currently works. Why is my internet so slow today? Oats and such. So that's what it currently looks like. And then brings down a drop down. So we need the categories, don't we? Sorry, hit the mic. Alright, so we don't need this. Let me figure out why the we don't need that. Maybe having the word category at the end is confusing. Thank goodness for a clipboard. Let's see. B. So it's just like border width. looks like I can do border B2. Let us see. Yeah, that looks reasonable. Draws a little bit of attention to it. All right. So the next bit is flex small item center. Can be flex all the time, can it? I need to replace this with the category. Okay, so it's not really function like a modal. My wife is messaging me, so I need to take a slight break. Be right back. Actually, I'm probably going to call it a day. I've streamed for close to 5 hours a day. 4.5 hours a day. Pretty good. I might work on this more tonight, but this isn't really showing like a modal like I want it to. So that may be what I messed with. I spelled category wrong. Hope you notice. Point it out. Make sure you tell everybody on Twitter. So I'm going to maybe work on this later. Basically I'm working on the modal to categorize these uncategorized items. And it doesn't just need to be on categorized items, because like you may want to click on these items as well. So that's what I'm working on. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening. Take care.